After leaving Cape Breton, I headed down to Nova Scotia's South Shore. I had heard Peggy's Cove was one of those places you just have to see if you're in the area. Usually when somebody tells me I have to see something, I'm skeptical. Tourist attractions just aren't usually my thing, but this one, I get it. There's something about a place that's built right into the rocks. You can tell the ocean has been shaping this coastline for thousands of years, and the little fishing village just figured out how to live with it instead of trying to change it. I spent a long time just wandering around, taking pictures, watching artists sit out on the rocks painting, looking at boats coming and going. Nobody seemed to be in a hurry. One thing I've noticed about Nova Scotia is that it doesn't try very hard to impress you. There aren't giant attractions every few miles or flashing billboards telling you where to stop next. The beauty is quieter than that. It's fishing villages that have been here for generations, hundreds of years even. It's little art galleries tucked into old buildings. It's roads that hug the coastline for mile after mile. It's the kind of place that rewards slowing down. And maybe that's why this part of the trip hit me differently. When I left home, I was chasing destinations. I had this huge route planned out with all these places that I dreamed about seeing. Every morning, I'd wake up thinking about where I needed to get to next. Somewhere along the way, that changed. I stopped worrying so much about the destinations and just started enjoying the drive. The South Shore wasn't my favorite part of Nova Scotia. Cape Breton still has my heart, but the South Shore gave me something different. It gave me room to think. From Peggy's Cove, I traveled down to Lunenburg, and then I turned toward the Annapolis Valley. The landscape changed again. Instead of dramatic cliffs and rugged coastline, there were rolling hills, orchards, little farms, and vineyards stretching across the valley. It almost reminded me of Vermont in places. By then, I realized I wasn't really sightseeing anymore. I was just living for a while. I think that's one of the reasons I love road trips so much. For a few weeks, life gets wonderfully simple. You wake up, you decide which direction to drive, you pull over when something catches your eye, eat when you're hungry, stop when you're tired. Somewhere in all of that, your mind finally gets quiet enough to hear itself again. And I think maybe that's what this trip has really been about. Hi there. So I've changed my plans a little bit again. And that's what I do as I move through my trip, and depending on how I feel and what I see as I go. And I told you in the last video I decided to see both the South Shore and the Fundy Shore on my way down to the ferry. Yesterday, I took a trip to Burnt Coat Head, and then I drove down to Peggy's Cove. And I have to tell you, I was not disappointed. I was not sorry that I drove all the way across to the other side to see Peggy's Cove. It was really charming. I expected a kind of a tourist spot, and it was touristy. I mean, it wasn't touristy. It held a lot of its original charm, but there were a lot of tourists there, but not overwhelmingly so. And I found a place to park, and I spent pretty much most of the day there. The photos that I took to send back home were just spectacular, and I didn't have to do anything to them. The sky was perfect. It was partly cloudy, so the sky was beautiful blue with white cotton ball clouds, and all of the colors along the shore with the inside the harbor with the different color boats and lobster traps. And it was just a really stunning landscape, very unique. And then from there, I drove down to Lunenburg and just hung out there for a while. Really picturesque. It was a Saturday night, so it was a very lively scene. I could hear music playing. There were people coming in for dinner, and I just hung out on the water for a while. Today, I'm going to drive back across Nova Scotia, and I'm headed for Wolfville. And then from there, I'm going to drive down the Annapolis Valley, and my destination for tonight is Annapolis Royal. Now, what I've changed, I told you I've changed my plans a little bit. What I've changed is the ferry. And I don't just mean the time this time. I canceled my Yarmouth to Bar Harbor ferry, and I instead booked the ferry to take from Digby back to St. John, so I can spend a little more time on the Fundy coast of New Brunswick before I head home. So that was the change that I made, and I think I better hit the road. I just got some coffee and it's time to go. So I just stopped at that farm market. I got an egg salad sandwich, some fresh apple cider, and a whole bag full of stuff to take home. I really need to learn to make good egg salad, because whenever I make it at home, I end up not eating it. But this is really good, and it's on homemade, their fresh baked bread. So just like the last trip I took, I've been doing a lot of reflection. That's kind of what this is for. These trips are not just a chance for me to see things that I didn't get to see before, and a chance for me to travel alone and just spend time with myself, but also they're a chance for me to kind of get some distance from everything, from my normal life, and just kind of reflect on everything and understand whether it's going the way I want it to go, or is there anything I want to change. Unlike years past, there's not a lot I want to change right now. I do have to still work, unfortunately, but what I'm doing for work is good with my soul right now. So in a few weeks, I'll be going back to work as a nursing instructor. I'm off for the summer. And some of you may remember a while back, maybe earlier in the spring, I mentioned having a country house that I was going to be working on, and I've really neglected that this summer, but I still do have it, and it's time for me to get to work on it. I've had some questions about where that came from, and did I just buy another house? And no, I didn't. I'll just give you a quick rundown. I've had that house for 23 years. I bought it. It was my first house that I ever bought when my kids were little, and when I was newly single again. And I lived there for a few years before I moved to the town that I live in now, and I rented it out. I rented it to the same tenant for, I think, 17 years. I had one or two tenants before him, and then I had a family, the tenant and his family. And then he said he wanted to buy it, so I set it up for them to buy it on owner financing. So I had discounted that house. That house was out of the picture. I was getting the monthly payments, and I didn't lay eyes on it for a long time. And I thought it would eventually be sold, completely sold. He'd pay me off, and it would be gone. But he had some things happen in his life, and he gave it back to me. He handed it back over to me. So it's back in my life. And it's not really livable. It's not really habitable, because he had started fixing it up. He had pretty much gutted the kitchen, and the bathroom is in horrible shape. And he kind of left it back. He gave it back to me in that condition. So I've already put a new roof on it, and I've already had the HVAC ductwork completely replaced, and some work done underneath the house. There was some termite damage because he didn't do termite treatments, and So now it's an empty shell that's just ready for me to fix it up and do whatever I'm going to do with it. So that's on my mind almost every day. Anyway, I went off on a tangent to tell you about that, but that house is sitting there waiting for me to do something with it. And when I get back, I have to start working on it. So I'm really looking forward to Annapolis Royal and these beautiful historical gardens that I've read about. So I'm going to get moving down the road. If one of my viewers hadn't mentioned the Annapolis Royal Historic Gardens, I might not have come here. And I can say, I think this is one of the favorite places I've been. The history, this used to be the capital of Nova Scotia. Lots of history here. This isn't a history channel, so I'm not going to read it all to you. But it's beautiful. There's so much historic significance and so many historic buildings, and it's beautiful. And I could totally see myself spending a few weeks here. I think we're outside the fort here. You see these stairs that go up and over? I'm gonna go up there. Well, whack, whack. It's cool down here. Well, that was nice. And the historic gardens close in an hour. So instead of going there today, I'm going to head down to Digby and have some scallops for dinner, as has been suggested. It's only 30 minutes, and I'm going to come back here tomorrow morning to do the gardens. Anybody want to loan me $500,000 to get a house here? Well, here we go. Let's go check out the innovative garden. Look at the blueberries. Oh yes, this is all mine. This is all what I'm about. Oh my gosh, look at this. What is that? Sorrel? Horseradish. There's a little fig tree. Oh, there's a little chipmunk. Did you see him? We don't have chipmunks at home either. Look at these gorgeous purple peas. See, I could spend a long time just in this part. And then I'm going to go to the rose garden. So beautiful. There's an artichoke. I tried growing artichoke one time. It lasted a year and a half. And I never did harvest it. I let it bloom. It was really pretty, but then it died. It didn't last the winter. Dill, all these nasturtiums, broccoli. This is so pretty. I see the biggest freaking squash, like a baseball bat over there. Oh, hey, buddy. Look. It's a little chipmunk. I've never been. Look how close I am to this little guy. Hi. He is so cute. Oh, look. A pear tree on a trellis. This, I don't know how you say that word. Espalier. They've got it pruned on this trellis. So cool. I'm gonna take some pictures too for my own reference. And this is, I want a greenhouse. I really want a greenhouse. Maybe when I get my country house finished, I'll have a greenhouse. So this is ox eye chamomile. I had to look it up. It's really cool. Big giant center. And then there's Rebecca over here. Rue. I'm glad there's signs because some of this stuff I'm not familiar with. There's a little cherry tree. I just enjoyed some more of those cherries this morning. And then blueberries. Oh my gosh. Look. This is like my dream garden. My dream backyard garden. Wonder what they're powering with the solar panel. Look, bananas in pots. I have those. Okay, on to the rose garden. This is heaven. And the volunteers out here working in the gardens. Heading into the elephant grass boardwalk. I was just thinking that early in my gardening days, it was all about just having a vegetable garden. I grew up with, parents of the Great Depression and a grandmother who had a victory garden back in the 30s and 40s. And it was all about providing food. And I just did it because it was kind of carried on. And I really was never interested in anything ornamental. Roses, anything I couldn't eat, I wasn't going to spend time and money taking care of it. But as I've aged, is it like bird watching? As you get older, you like flowers and birds. It's also beautiful. Before the days of weed eaters and weed whackers. So that's a dike over there, the river behind it. Garlic, cabbage. Built without nails, Acadian house.
Too little water, too much water.
Yeah. When we were in Germany and went down to the mountains in Italy, the Airbnb that we stayed at had
Use brick ovens.
not a brick oven, but it was a heating system similar to this.
Yeah.
On the other side, there's this big bulbous thing. So you build a fire here, and it would heat the rooms going back.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Wow.
The house was built without nails. See the joinery? An Acadian house. La Maison Acadienne. Pardon my French. Beautiful little courtyard. There's a pond garden. So cool. Lotuses. Check this out. Oh my gosh. Ornamental grasses. Do you see that? That's a sundial. Some of us who are nature lovers, like me, and probably a lot of you, we go through the world thinking everything natural is beautiful and all humans do is tear it down. But in this case, humans have built something truly beautiful here, and it's really inspiring. I could spend all day here. I could work here. Can I just have a job here? And of course, this is nature. The plants are nature. They're growing, but humans designed and built and cultivated and care for this place. And it is spectacular. This is cute. Whimsical. Rock fountain. Governor's garden. It took me a second to realize what that was. That's rhubarb. We don't have that in North Carolina either. Not in the eastern part anyway. Somebody might grow it in the mountains. I don't think it would be very easy to grow though. So the governor's garden is very geometric. And then the Victorian garden has more curves and rounded edges. Look, they have a lot of these red canna lilies, which I have at home in my backyard, and I curse them because they keep multiplying. The big red leaf things. They do have zinnias though. I do love some zinnias. Have those in my house. Very colorful. They have Egyptian walking onions, and I have those. They grow these bulbules on top, and then they fall over, and each one of those grows a new onion. After leaving Annapolis Royal, I had some time to kill before my afternoon ferry in Digby. So I went across to the peninsula across the Annapolis Basin from Annapolis Royal, and I traveled pretty much down to the end at Digby Gut. I saw farmland, beautiful old houses with gardens, and the highway hugged the coastline the entire way down there, and there was even a lighthouse and some historic sites that I stopped at. It was really a beautiful drive and a good way to spend a few hours. Well, I've been in Nova Scotia for a while, and I've started to get pretty comfortable here, but it's time to leave.